Hello, beautiful friends. Delightful to connect with you all today. It is a full moon, and I am feeling those energies intensely, so I figured I'd pop on and just do a little reading for the collective. We're going to start off with the masculine and kind of like where the masculine energies are right now and where they're sitting with this moon energy. So we start off with the internal energy of the black shuck, the death card. All right, so to me, this feels very significant of old ways of being or dying. There's a lot of ego death happening, purification. Really, I'm sensing even with this of like kind of having to look and dance with one's shadow. And I'm sensing even there's a lot of energies of like touch and go, dipping into like old ways of being that may not serve anymore, but it's like kind of just like a last flush. Um, and the external bridge to this is this moon energy, so really kind of diving deep into the subconscious as we explore the shadow. Now be mindful to call out that there's a black shuck here and there's a black wolf here, and the light does present itself within this card. So to me it feels like there's a lot of subconscious purging, a lot of egoic purging. There's a lot of like stuff coming up for the masculine energies right now of how to move kind of with this. And in the illumination of the new moon or the full moon, there's nowhere to hide. How this is showing up externally is the Three of Stones. And what I hear with this card is like it's a peace offering. It's a physical way of kind of starting to organize that world and knowing this inner knowing starting to broadcast externally of how to show up in a more grounded, significant way. What came out as the overall lesson of the masculine right now is the card Manuka, Journey. Manuka brings a lot of joy. It's like a little dopamine bean in a lot of ways. It's great with cacao. And what I'm seeing in this Journey card, because it came up reversed, and I was like, oh, well, what is the reversed energy of this? And what I'm really seeing as I look at it, and especially in association with these cards, it's like the illumination that's coming through in this time, like the crown chakra is being activated, the third eye is being activated, the throat chakra is even being activated. And the more we send and ground love into the hearts of ourselves and with each other, we can dish out hate and, upset and blah, blah, blah. But like, how can you meet it with love? How can you neutralize a charge that's on the opposite side of the spectrum that you want? That's how to dance with this energy, I guess, is what's coming forward. There's also a cauldron here. It's not really lit, but there's like some magic and ingredients like wanting to come forth. So what I really see with the journey is this is a time of like regathering the elements. It's kind of the time where you learn that you are the wizard instead of enact being the wizard. So that feels really powerful with the masculine coming forward. All right, so now we move on to the feminine, and I was quite curious of what was going to come up for her and her particular dance at this time. And the first card in the internal world is suspension. To me, this feels like a sacred place of protection, of really like working, reharmonizing. Like I'm feeling a deep sense of recalibration of safety with the feminine. I know that's been coming up for myself. That coming through other loving connection, other people who are really consciously doing the work and doing it together so that you can work and navigate and enter the divine dance in a sacred way. The external bridge to this is Four of Wands. I really feel like this is internal celebration and calibration, a lot through movement, but also through togetherness, through community, through coming together in intentional spaces. And of course the hanged man and the suspension energy, like this is an intentional space to go into. It is the alchemical cauldron that we have to retreat into, especially because there's been a lot of expansion with the feminine lately and where she wants to go and how she comes out of the hermitage and into the world. So there's a lot of that energy going on, but there still has to be a back and forth because The next card that came out was the Hanged Man again. So we're sandwiched in here. Four of Wands between the Hanged Man. This is vision. This is cultivation. So what I see is if there has, for the feminine energies, there has been this expansion going out into the world, being present. Now it's about pulling back in, reharnessing and revisioning what it really looks like. I know for me, there's been like really clear lucidities of not only how we live in the story, but how we write the story different and how we release the story entirely. So there's a lot of work with that. I do like that this is a masculine figure in there. So I do feel like this is kind of the holding process that represents the feminine's wanted to move, but she's been held with the masculine. But at the same time, this is a similar energy, same card. She's doing the reflection work like within the pond, and kind of seeing what's coming up in that way. That all being said, the overall message is retreat, is reishi. It's introspection, it's being present. We've got bear here. We've got this incredibly wonderful medicinal mushroom here. So what I see in all of this for the feminine is really grounding into your truth and expanding within what that truth really looks like. An example that I would provide would be, how much bigger can it get? How much more love can be shared? How much more radiating can happen into the community? How can we hold each other in more beautiful ways? So that feels really good and clear. Okay, so I'm asking what the third energy of this pairing and of these sacred couples wanted to bring forward at this time. And the first card that I got was the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, this is a card of a lot of options. This is kind of like, wow, look at all these potential pathways that are starting to open up now, but all these doors are closed. They haven't gone anywhere. And the card that I asked for clarification, I got the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Spells. So the seven's energy to me is always, I was just talking with somebody about how we get into these 7-year cycles of completion and movement, and we reach kind of an accumulation. To me, this really signifies that the clarification coming forward is this is the end of the conflict of one being greater than another. It is the opening of coming into a more oneness, and just seeing the oneness is like we're all on different paths, living different truths and vibrations at this time. The card that comes forward with this is the Chariot. So, and then this is a callback to this to the Moon card, right, where we had the black and white wolves. Wolves are going to symbolize loyalty. And horses are going to symbolize power and strength. And so I feel like with the movement of the loyalty and the power, it's like what we're learning to imbibe is a deeper embodiment within ourselves and what it is that we're working to cultivate. So the third energy kind of wanting to teach is like, we're going to have to move through some of those doors or start opening them and looking forward. But right now they're just being presented in front of us. And it's like, the preparation energy of taking the journey, of getting ready to go on the trip feels really present. All right, how this is manifesting in the physical, we have got the Page of Swords, the Apprentice of Arrows. Okay, so this is a teaching card. So I think that I was talking with another Divine Feminine today, and she was sharing that there's a lot of the masculine still needing to be held throughout their process and through their healing. And what I'm seeing within that realm is how we can give, within any parent, with any pairing, there is a sense of parenting going on. So learning how to reparent yourself, learning how to be present and parent with another. This is part of the journey here. So what I see, it's like the feminine's kind of in her strength, and the parts of the masculine that are the unhealed little boy And again, you know, all the gender is off the table here. It's just the polarities. But it's the unhealed child that we're actually kind of guiding through this process at this point. And that is sitting more with the masculine energies. So they're kind of going back into why they're acting the way they are. I know that's been coming up for me. And of course, you know, we all do this inner child work, but how does it really bring us forward and what does it take us into? Well, this shows the Six of Stones, and I see, which is the Six of Pentacles, and I see a lot of abundance in this card. I see a lot of like cleansing. I also feel like this is a toss back to the masculine card where there was the exchange with the elder. And then there's the cleansing of the gifts received, or the preparation to exchange the gifts. So I would just be on the lookout because the accumulation card of the sacred journey moving forward is revival, cordyceps. All right, this is the eagle. I was also just talking about with a friend about that prophecy of like the condor and the with that the whole as above so below, the north and the south, like these pieces coming together, the masculine and the feminine. This is the time where these things are coming forth. These DNA strands are learning how to come together. There is a kundalini rising. There is a connection with spirit. There is a connection with earth, and the revival of the connection is new. And it's grounded and asking to present in a way that we haven't seen before. So I asked where this is heading at this current time. And what I see is the Page of Swords. Okay, so this tosses right back to where things are currently at. And this is more for the feminine. Okay, so I feel like for the feminine, like it's connecting with this heart energy. It's connecting with source energy. It's connecting with the self and really being deliberate about what it is that wants to be created and called forth. So that's kind of what she's bringing forward in her contemplative energy. It's fun. I actually have a pair of socks that looks like that. For the masculine, we get this moon card again, which comes forward with the moon card that was the bridge energy here. So as we're seeing this double moon, I really feel like there is this deep going into the subconscious, going into the spiritual, connecting greater with self. And, you know, full moon energies can be really sloppy. You know, we can get the light comes out and we go into the world and we're like, you know, moving all this energy. We're making wild choices. The night is the day. You know, it is a time to really do this work. And, you know, I think that in some ways the feminine is kind of grounding it, but also alchemizing it. It's like if you stay in the watery realms, but you don't earth it, things can get lost and muddied really quickly. Okay, so where is this going for these union pairs? We get the Four of Spells, which is a toss back to the feminine's Four of Spells, Four of Wands. All right, so again, more community, more coming together, more sacred. You know, Four of Wands is traditionally a sacred union card because you have the two pillars of the wand, so it's the 11-11. And what I see in this is it's just really, this also feels representative of May Day and being present with all that is. So yeah, I just continue to say, like, sit with the energies of what's coming forward. And it was funny, all these cards fell out at the same time, and this was at the bottom. So, you know, the narrative of the story coming forward is really offering some really good alchemy that's happening. It's like as we celebrate and we commune with ourselves, we commune with other beings who are radiating at a similar vibration and a similar level of consciousness you're able to share. We're able to make these wishes. We're this Nine of Cups energy. And as we make the wishes and we place the prayers, you know, I love that there's fish on this card. It feels very Piscean to me. So it's like you work with this dreamy energy and you use the alchemy of the different elements to help seed and ground and you know, plant these wishes. I do feel like the wishes and the prayers of the community coming together are what offer this. To me, this feels like a collective act of allowing that to drop in. And then we move into the forge and temperance. And this to me feels like the alchemy of really doing the work of stepping forward, of allowing things to grow and shift and change in powerful ways. And then in this alchemy, we conclude with the wizard, the enchanter. And, we have like these to me always feel like, I mean, they're minor arcana, but they're like big. They always feel like good movement. And of course, these are major arcana. So we're really acknowledging that, some big stuff is in the process of moving. And, I mentioned the wizard in this card. And here he is actually doing the magic, so it's a full circle of what I mentioned earlier. But I do really think it's part of the seeds of community and how we work together. I know that as I navigate union connections in my life and just relationships in general, whether you view them as sacred union or not, the dance of the masculine and the feminine, the themes that we see with anxiety and anxious attachment, disorganized, like as there's so many different avenues in which we can use to communicate these different polarities that come up. But at the end of the day, we still have to dance with them, right? And if we're going to dance with them, what is the way that feels most integrity with our soul, with our heart, with our truth, and at the same time honors the other person and their soul and their heart and their truth, and really being an observation and witness when we can't be met, and being able to step away and nourish ourselves with connections that do allow that to occur. So this all feels really beautiful. It feels really alchemical. I asked for one last card, and I think I'm even going to draw one more. So where is this all headed in the physical? I got the Judgment card. And to me, this card is really interesting because it feels representative of like coming home and really finding peace and safety, allowing abundance. It says discernment, which, through this process that we're in, it's not only the sorting through of what is it that I want, what am I ready for, what's getting in the way of that. There's been so many reflections of what's coming forth to do that. But we also have this Five of Bowls, so this Five of Cups energy. So the discernment is this walking away from that which is not serving. It's also like acknowledging the offerings that are coming forward. What are you walking away from? What, healthier connections have taken a backseat as you work through the alchemy of the more challenging ones. And I'm going to draw one more card because I want a little more about this Five of Bowls and Judgment. And we got a lot more. Okay. Really beautiful. I don't feel like I've ever seen the Empress. Okay. So as we move from the Five of Bowls, and this is where, again, the connection's headed, in the physical, we get the Empress energy. And I love this. There's abundance, there's offerings, there's presence, there's like new life. I honestly don't think I've seen this card in this deck yet. And it's really inspiring me. So this bounty, this allowing the manifestations of the prayers, both communal and other, to come forward. And in the middle of this, we got the Nine of Stones, so the Nine of Pentacles, and this is going to represent, the things coming into being, dreams coming true, like seeds actually starting to grow and sprout, the kingdom being built. It also represents like the end of a cycle of waiting. This is the gestation. And we end with the Emperor, which is command. So if we to get the Emperor and the Empress in one pull there feels really significant. And I'm really curious about these energies of bounty and command. So I do feel like as we integrate our masculine and feminine, and as we see that reflected externally, the more we come into our love and our appreciation as the feminine, this potent softness, this powerful presence that allows, that receives, the more we're that bounty is offering like the support that allows that masculine energy to come forward in command, to allow things to move forward, to have the sacred ritual open up and move. And I just really continue to, to sit with what all of these things are that are moving forward. Yeah, I had a moment of like really feeling the energies there. So, yeah, as we move into this judgment, this discernment, more so than anything, is really what it feels. To me, this is the clarity of vision. So all this inner work that's so beautiful. This is such like this is the life I want to live. I want to live with community and in celebration, like imbibing my wishes and bringing them into manifestation, forging them into reality, and then continuing to do the alchemy as a greater service. And, that is the process of discernment. What is it that we're creating next? And how do we want to move forward? How do we expand the collective community? How can we accept these offerings? When do we look back and when do we continue to walk forward? When do we say, hey, you actually come meet me out here because this is the path that's being forged. So really beautiful stuff. And yeah, be with this Empress energy, be with this Nine of Pentacles, because that's what allows these bounties to come forward. And that Emperor is sacred. To me, both the Emperor and the Empress and these cards they're imbibing their sacred truth. And of course, that doesn't have to look one way. I think my biggest thing that I've been working with is I've been using the mantra, like, I don't play the game that way anymore. And if I notice that I'm engaging in a game or am, being put into a game with somebody, I say, how is it that I want to dance with this? How is it that I want to move? And then I make a different choice, or I make the choice that's most in alignment with my truth. And because of all of the deeper healing work, like, I'm really proud to feel like I'm not in the energies anymore of anxiety, and the feeling of anxiousness, or even like the observation of the avoidant. I can really just be present with as a part of the process and as the unique way I move, and to make a choice to move different, and honoring that within others too. So keep doing the deep work. Feel free to comment below what you've been moving through. Feel free to reach out with an email, prismhealers@gmail.com. We can connect one-on-one for a session. I will have a more grounded availability coming this upcoming time. So yeah, I want to just offer all that moving forward. And I hope that everyone's doing well, that you're being in your hearts, you're feeling grounded. Please go spend some time in nature. Be with the water, be with the trees, be with the birds, be with the bees. And many blessings to you all on your sacred journey. Aho.